Alright, so the task at the moment is we want to try and paint the sides of the hull. We've done the bottom here, which makes it look a lot better, but now it's time to basically refresh the sides here. Now, in order to paint it, of course, I've got to get the UV strips off. The UV strips here are the 3 strips. We've tried the heat gun, but the heat gun just seemed to sort of melt it into a ball and didn't actually seem to remove it from the boat. So I've done some research, and people have recommended to get, and actually this is the tool for pinstripe removal. It's called a caramel wheel. You can see that we just put it on a regular drill here. Now, I've already done the other side, so what I hope to show you here, I guess, is the technique that I've learnt that is the quickest to try and save you time, of course, if you ever have to do this yourself. So just check out these little technique tips. Okay, well, if it's not clear from the video, I'm trying to keep the edge of the caramel wheel square with the surface of the boat, and I'm using my leading hand to drag the drill rather than push the drill along the surface. Alright, well, as you can see, I've just about, it's taken a couple of hours and we've ripped all the UV strips off the side. I've left the rego numbers on there just in case we want to go out in the next week. My next job now, of course, will be to sand and prep the sides before we look at painting it. Is it obvious that I'm pretending here? This was just to show you that I'm using an orbital sander. Alright, so here we are, we've done the sanding now. We started off using some 40 grit. Now the 40 grit was used just because it's quick and easy, and there was a lot of sort of sticky stuff. Not a lot, but there was some sticky stuff left from the UV stripes, and the 40 grit really helped to get that down. I've then gone over an 80 grit. Now, I guess if you were doing this on an expensive boat, you probably wouldn't use the 40 grit. You'd start at 80 grit, and then maybe you'd go to 120 or something. But it is just a cheap boat, so and I have got a fixed amount of time where I want to knock this project over. So yeah, I have only gone down to the 80. Now, it is maybe difficult to see, but I guess that's sort of the finish that it gets. As I said, it's not perfect, but we'll paint it, we'll prime it, and we'll see how it looks. One of the interesting things I thought that we found was that it appears as though, so the 3 stripes were between here, and then we've uncovered this little bit here. So I'd say that yellow stripe there is actually what the original was, the boat, and then it's been primed basically with the beige colour that's just around it, and then it's been top coated with the white that's right there as well. So and I couldn't really, I guess this is sort of my first sailboat and everything. I couldn't tell that it had been painted before, so I guess that's a little bit of a surprise. Yeah, anyway, so let's move on to painting, and yeah, we'll see how we go with that. Alrighty, so we've put 2 coats of primer on. So we've had the 2-part, the ship-shape product here. So the first coat had 24 hours to dry, and the second coat's only had about, say, 10 or 11 hours, about 10 hours to dry. Now, it says 16 hours is a minimum at 25 degrees Celsius, but today has been about, let's say, 30 degrees, probably a high of, say, 33 degrees Celsius. And it's still quite dry, so I'm hoping that's been long enough. So some tips that I'm using, or some things I'm using at the moment, I've just got my a little 130mm roller. I'm using a new paint tray every time, and the rollers are a satin and a gloss little nap roller, so hopefully that will keep things yeah, looking good. Now there's a little technique that I've got to show you here with putting on the top coat. The first thing is doing a bit of cutting in, so just running along this top edge here. Got my little roller. Right, now the first thing I do is just sort of get some of the paint off the roller by just going up and down a few times. Right, then I'm doing it forwards and towards the front and stern of the boat. Just a little patch at a time. Now you won't be able to see this on the video, but it's actually leaving like these really small little bubbles in the paint. So I'll just have to show you what I do with that in a second. Now you can also probably tell that it's actually quite, it's like 7 p.m. at night here. The sun is going down, but there's no dew falling. It's probably going to have we're probably going to have a low tonight of, let's say, 20 degrees Celsius. So it's still going to be quite warm throughout the night. And the reason I guess I'm sort of rushing it is because it's the Australia Day weekend this weekend, and of course I want to get out and use the boat. So this top coat will go on. We'll have 24 hours to dry, and then we'll put the second coat on before we start putting the boat back together for the weekend. All right. So there's lots of little bubbles through there at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the next patch, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how I get rid of those bubbles. Okay, so now I've painted this front section. Now I come back to here, and I'm trying to deal with all of these little bubbles. So I'm just going to very lightly drag the paintbrush over it, and it'll just sort of knock the top off all of these little bubbles. Alright, so as we can't really see it, but so it's done very lightly so that it just sort of drags the top off all those little air bubbles. Okay, so here we are, 6 months later. I just wanted to give a bit of an update as to how the paint has worn and those sort of things. In the middle of winter now, it's a rainy day, so I thought this is a great time to do it. So the paint job, I think, turned out really well. A couple of coats there, as we said, of the primer, a couple of coats of the top coat. There was a bit of an issue there with leaving enough time in between the drying times, but look, 6 months later and it's still rock solid. Paint hasn't been flaking off or anything like that, so yeah, very happy with how it's turned out. It really has rejuvenated the boat and made it look a lot better. You certainly don't feel ashamed or pulling into the marina or anything now with this. It does look a bit better. We just need to do the top now, which I don't know whether we will get around to. But as you can see, I end up putting up this little blue strip at the top there, which I think certainly made the boat look very smart indeed, and just got some of rego numbers there off eBay, about $15 or something. And again, you know, they just make it look so much more tidier. Something I did want to point out is with using the rollers and everything. I just didn't say why I actually use the tray, a fresh tray every time. It just cuts down so much on having to clean everything, because you just chuck the used tray in the bin. You know, you probably end up using more mineral thinners and everything like that than what it's really worth for just to simply buy another roller and another tray and start from scratch. And you don't get any of the little paint, you know, the used paint things in your mix when you're rolling it on. So look, rolling, it's not the job that you do on a $100,000 boat or a $200,000 boat, but for something that's sort of, you know, $10,000 worth, look, the roller worked perfectly fine, has done the job, and as I said, I'm very happy with it. So yeah, that's it. If you're looking at painting yourself, then give it a go. All right, we'll catch you next time.